Right now at noon, new developments on the Dodgeville man arrested in Nebraska accused of killing a woman. Why it may take longer bringing him back to Wisconsin. Plus, the Trump administration facing fallout over its handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, who the DOJ is now reaching out for more information. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Freiter. New developments in the case of the man accused of killing a Dodgeville woman. Gavin Thompson will stay in Nebraska for now. An extradition hearing put his transfer to Wisconsin on hold. Thompson faces several charges, including first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says they expected him to be extradited to face charges in Wisconsin, but court documents now show Thompson has requested a competency evaluation. A criminal complaint says Thompson entered Dorinda Segenbrecht's home and stabbed her to death after a fight over her car keys. The complaint says he then dragged her to the back seat of her car and drove to Nebraska. His next court hearing is scheduled for August 26th. Right now, one person is hurt after a shooting on Madison's north side. Police say it happened on Slim Jim Avenue just after 4 this morning. Multiple callers reported shots being fired. When officers got there, they found one person with gunshot wounds, and that person was taken to the hospital. At this time, no suspect is in custody, and that investigation is ongoing. Madison police are also investigating a robbery at a 24-hour McDonald's. Dane County Dispatch confirms this happened just before 2:30 this morning. New video shows the scene at the McDonald's on East Wash near Highway 30. Dispatch says an officer nearby spotted the robbery while checking on someone. The video shows someone being loaded into an ambulance. We're working to find out how this is connected to the robbery and if police arrested anyone. One of the windows at the McDonald's was also smashed out. The Fitchburg Fire Department is investigating an apartment fire that left one woman dead. Firefighters responded to Pheasant Ridge Trail around 6 o'clock last night. They found smoke and flames in the kitchen. They pulled the woman from the unit and took her to a hospital where she later died. No one else was hurt. Crews are still investigating what started it. We are working to find out more about this house fire in Deerfield. It happened early yesterday afternoon on Parkview Road. Several agencies responded. As of right now, it's still unclear on whether there were any injuries. We'll continue to provide updates as soon as we get them. This week, temperatures are climbing, bringing both the heat and humidity. Experts say the cause is a heat dome over the central U.S. At the same time, storm chances are forming a ring of fire just north of the jet stream. The Wisconsin State Climatology Office says Wisconsin will feel the effects of both. That means possible severe thunderstorms north of Madison and a mix of heat and humidity coming in from the south.
Really stagnant weather patterns. That's why you get a lot of heat for multiple days, and then those on the outside of the dome get a lot of storms for multiple days.
It may feel like our summers are getting hotter, but the State Climatology Office says there hasn't been a noticeable increase in high heat days since the 1950s. First 4 meteorologist Savannah Brito is tracking this all in her certified most accurate forecast, and it's gonna get hot.
It's definitely getting hot out there, Josh, and we're only going to rise from where we're sitting right now. 81, our dew point up to 69. We had very comfortable levels yesterday. That is not the case, though, heading into your Tuesday. Our winds out of the south at 11 miles per hour near sunset later, just before 8:30. The rest of the day, we're still climbing, expecting the upper 80s, maybe a couple of lower 90s. I think that's more going to be so confined to the south, Janesville, and then more so across the Rockford, Illinois region. Then temperatures stay very mild overnight. We're not going to fall below the mid 70s, maybe even a couple areas hanging out in the upper 70s. That can even be dangerous. This is new for noon as well. We've got a heat advisory now. The National Weather Service upgraded us from extreme heat watch, that's still to our south, to a heat advisory. That will be in place 11 a.m. tomorrow, late morning through 8 p.m. We'll probably see the National Weather Service office follow suit, though, for areas to the west. Just because you're not included in that now, you're still going to experience the dangerous heat. Heat index values could be up to 105, maybe topping out at 110. I think that's more likely to our south. Those areas are probably going to get increased to a warning, and we'll probably see some counties get extended in that into Thursday, because we're still going to be dealing with the dangerous heat Thursday. The second part of the alert day for Thursday, which I called for this morning, that's actually going to be for the storm chances that we could see. So Josh, the next couple of days hot, and then we also have the chance for severe weather as well.
Oh, and I know we have concerts on the square tomorrow night. I'm going to be out there, and I'm like paying really close attention to that forecast.
Yeah, it's going to be really hot. I wish the weather was going to be a little bit better, at least cooler, but lower 90s, so make sure you stay hydrated.
We'll see. All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, today, President Trump is hosting the presidents of the Philippines, with trade and China expected to be the focus of their talks. It comes as the push to release more files in the Jeffrey Epstein case continues to be a focus on Capitol Hill. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says he's reached out to the counsel of the Epstein associate and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department, adding, quote, if Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and DOJ will hear what she has to say.
People have wanted these files for years, and then the president's staff, administration, his own children, his vice president have promised that these files would come out, and now we're being told it's a hoax. It doesn't wash.
Maxwell's attorney confirms they are in discussions with the government and added, quote, we are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case, end quote. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, what a new analysis is showing about Americans and their money, plus 2 court cases could help shape the future of Tesla. We'll talk about it.
President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act will add $3.4 trillion to the federal deficit through 2034, according to the Congressional Budget Office. That's a slight increase of the office's prior projection after Republicans made changes to get the legislation passed. President Trump and Republicans have insisted economic growth will exceed CBO projections, erasing any deficits. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is dealing with 2 court cases that could help shape the future of his self-driving vehicles. One in Miami involves a deadly accident after a Tesla driver dropped his cell phone and relied on the autopilot program. Another in Oakland, California, seeks to suspend Tesla from being able to sell vehicles in the state because of claims the automaker provides misleading information about its self-driving features. Arguments in both cases should be over within the next few weeks. Musk hopes to roll out robo-taxis to several cities next year. And a new analysis shows more Americans are shifting their money from checking and savings accounts into brokerage accounts, money market funds, and CDs that pay an investment income. The research from J.P. Morgan Chase Institute looked at 4.7 million households and found their cash reserves are increasing when investment accounts are included. That could explain why spending has remained strong despite checking and savings accounts remaining at the same level and inflation bringing higher prices. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is up 70 points, NASDAQ down 97, and the S&P 500 down this hour 10. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Pam has the farm report next, and Savannah is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, I continue our Restaurant Week series. Today we check out Canteen, which is brand new to the event. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yaki for the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, everybody focused in on the weather, that is for sure. Thinking about my friends down in Rock County that are getting the fair underway in Columbia County later this week. Be careful. Be careful. That's all we can say. I'll tell you what, though. Our Wisconsin plants, they kind of like this weather. Corn and soybeans, if you haven't noticed, really starting to stretch for the sky. The latest update from the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service bears out what I'm saying. Right now, it looks like 79% of our corn is in that good to excellent category, and about 75% of our soybeans are in the good to excellent category. Both crops are starting to move forward as far as silking is concerned, although our corn still about 2 days behind, but going to catch up, I'm sure. Winter wheat harvest has begun across some of Wisconsin. 14% of that crop already in, and 72% of the winter wheat called good to excellent. The oats, again, that looks like it's coming along real well, and 7% of that crop's harvested. 3% of our potatoes have already been dug out of the ground, and that crop will continue to be harvested right into the fall months. So things looking not so bad as far as Wisconsin crops are concerned. Also want to congratulate some of the Wisconsin dairy operations that are going to be highlighted during World Dairy Expo this year during the virtual farm tours. This literally gives people that attend the show a chance to virtually visit farms around the world. Congratulations to Hergenly Holsteins in Elkhorn. I apologize. Adam Hirchen, Cynthia Bartel, Leah and Karen Hirchen. They are focused in on their robotic milking down there. Normie Lane Holsteins up in Chile, Wisconsin. We'll talk about multi-generational operations. And then Wagner Farms in O'Connell Falls, talking about the great cow care they give and how they partner up their calves as buddies to give them some more support that way. Not much support in our cheese market today. Barrel and block cheese unchanged again, Josh. The AA butter dropped 2 1/4 cents to $2.47 3/4 per pound. So that's kind of where we stand. I don't think anybody's necessarily paying a lot of attention to the markets right now, but for farmers that are going to be outside doing the wheat harvest, please be very careful and make sure you're cleaning that chaff off. With this kind of weather, it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility that we could see combine fires if we're not careful. Don't need that kind of risk along with all this hot weather. Yeah, the only support I need right now is an air conditioner this week, Pam. I think you can agree with that too. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. All right, Pam, thank you. Well, right now, the EAA Airventure is taking over the skies in Oshkosh this week. There are even a couple of blimps there. Goodyear is celebrating 100 years of airship flying with them. The company recently donated its last remaining blimp gondola to the EAA Museum to be made into a children's exhibit, and there's plenty more to see. Third-generation pilot Tommy Hammond says going to the show is an annual tradition.
This is my 25th year at Oshkosh, and I'm 25 years old. My dad and my family have gone here every year. It's great. I love every minute of it.
Oh, something to see there. That's so cool. Around 700,000 people are expected to attend Airventure this week. Last year's attendance was record-breaking with more than 686,000 visitors. Well, we're talking about the heat and humidity. It's coming whether you like it or not. Here's First Floor meteorologist Savannah Brito. She's tracking it all for us. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Josh. Thank you. Yeah, the heat and humidity return. Hopefully you got outside yesterday. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, now 81 at the lunchtime hour. Temperatures aren't bad, but when you factor in the heat index values and the humidity or our dew points, that's what'll get you this afternoon. 82 in Janesville, 77 in Mineral Point, 78 in Viroqua. So a lot of southern Wisconsin only in the upper 70s, but a lot of us are also in the upper or lower 80s. There's kind of a mix of that right now. Check out our dew points. A lot of us well into the 70s, even 76 in Platteville this afternoon, 70 in Mineral Point. We've got a dew point at 69. When they come above the 60-degree mark, we didn't have that yesterday, but we will going forward the next several days. That's when it's very humid, especially when you have those dew points that are sitting 75-degree plus, which Platteville is seeing right now. And we'll see that all across southern Wisconsin. That continues all of the week, even into the weekend. That ring of fire or heat dome, that pattern is not going to break down until at least midweek next week. That's when we'll have some relief underway. But dangerous heat, so we do have alert days both Wednesday and Thursday. I extended that into Thursday first because of the heat that we're still going to have present out there, but also because of the storm threat. We could see some severe thunderstorms. That's everyone across southern Wisconsin. Everyone did get upgraded to a heat advisory. This will go into effect at 11 a.m. tomorrow and run until 8 p.m. tomorrow for everyone. Areas like Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, Viroqua, La Crosse, Black River Falls, and Camp Douglas are not included in this, but it's still going to be dangerously hot no matter where you're located across southern and central Wisconsin. There's still an extreme heat watch to our south. They'll probably extend that or upgrade that to a heat advisory or an extreme heat warning. We might see some counties get added to that. We'll see those heat index values reach the lower to even mid-90s in a couple of hours later this afternoon, but overnight they're not going to fall below the 70s. When you factor in the heat index value and temperatures that don't fall below the mid-70s overnight, that is long hours where our body doesn't have full time to cool down from the heat of the day. And these are heat index values tomorrow, at least 100, if not climbing all the way up to 105. That's expected all across our area. As we get into Thursday, I do think there's been a little bit of changes as far as if we see rain or storms overnight into early Thursday. That'll kind of limit us from getting as hot on Thursday, but that would mean that we could be seeing severe weather, strong to severe thunderstorms. I think mainly areas Madison and especially east and southward, those places have the best chance of being a little bit hotter than areas northwest. You see kind of a little bit of a temperature gradient. This is with our heat index on future tracks. Some of us may only see the upper upper 70s, both for temperatures, and then there wouldn't be a heat index in place. This is the storm threat that we have for today. This is mainly going to be tonight into early tomorrow. Our best chance, I think, ultimately is going to stay northwest of here, and that'll be the case again tomorrow too. Thursday, I think, is our better storm chance. I wouldn't be surprised if they place us under that yellow color, just because our threat's a little bit higher, and that's again why I called for the second half of our alert day conditions into Thursday. So heat kind of going to still be in place, but that'll be kind of up in the air as far as if we see severe weather. We wouldn't get up to 89 degrees. So maybe fingers crossed for a few storms that would not be severe so we don't get as hot. But nonetheless, going forward, the next almost 9 days, Josh, are going to be really hot.
Oh.
I know,
the dog
but it's
days of summer,
better than
though.
winter, right?
Yes, I know. It's not bad.
Exactly.
You just got to be ready
just gotta,
for it.
Yeah, practice heat safety and you'll be okay.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Well, today Howard is using one of his favorite appliances in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When I talk to many of you, I often hear how much you love your slow cookers, especially during the summer. And so do I. After all, nothing beats cooking all day long without heating up our kitchens. So let me share a comforting dinner idea that you can make as soon as tonight. We begin by placing a 3 to 4 pound chuck roast in a slow cooker. Next, we combine some beef broth, soy sauce, and a few off-the-shelf spices. Now we pour this over the roast, and all that's left to do is cover it, set it to low, and let it do its thing. After it's fork tender, we take it out, place it on a board, and shred it with a couple of forks. Like this. Now you can use the meat however you'd like, but my favorite way is to serve it stuffed in crusty rolls with all the pan drippings. Does this look good or what? And it couldn't get any simpler. When you dunk this into the rich beef broth or spoon the broth over it, be ready for a flavor-packed bite that may get a bit messy, but all in a good way. To get the recipe for our slow cooker French dip sandwiches, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tasty slow cooked way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Up next at noon, UW Health Clinical Dietitian Michelle Harnish with advice for affordable grocery shopping. Welcome back. UW Health Clinical Dietitian Michelle Harnish is back with us for this month's health segment, and we're talking about affordable grocery shopping, which I think is a big topic, especially today.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the prices are fluctuating for lots of reasons, weather issues, viruses and diseases in the crops and the livestock. So it can be really frustrating to see your prices fluctuate. But one thing that you can really do to take the power back is to plan for what you're eating so you don't have food waste on the other side. Because then you're still wasting money in another way if your food is just going to waste. So smart shopping can really help you save money even if the prices are fluctuating.
And I think that's going to make it easier overall and help you stay a little bit more organized too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was a Gallup poll done in 2023 where they found that most households throw away an average of over 6 cups of food a week. And that's bad enough because nobody wants to waste food, but cost-wise, that can be over $1,000, almost $2,000, a year that we're just wasting. So it definitely makes your targeted shopping much more important.
So you've broken this into two different pieces, the before you shop and at the store. So let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah, most people don't really appreciate how important it can be before you shop. So making a list, making a meal plan, anything like that you can do to limit what you need to buy so you don't have those impulse buys. Also, reviewing what you have when you make that list is really important. You might have enough to make a menu if you just buy a couple different ingredients without bringing a lot more groceries into the house. When you plan for fruits and vegetables, put those on your list for frozen fruits and vegetables. They can really last a long time. They're always there. They hardly ever go bad. And if you can hit farmer's market before you go to the grocery store, that can really help save you money because you can buy in bulk when something's really in season. You're giving the money directly to the farmers instead of paying some of those middle costs for the grocery stores and the drivers and everything like that. And then it's just going to last longer in your fridge. Then when you get to the store, if they do have a loyalty or rewards card, they can give you some money back. That's always great. If you do shop in multiple stores, compare the pricing. A lot of stores, one will have better price on produce and one will have better prices on meat. And you can plan ahead for that. Lastly, if you do buy in bulk, which is a great idea, you want to buy in bulk wisely. If it's not something that you're really going to eat all of, or you just don't have the room to store it, buying bulk tends to be a waste of money. So you can definitely save a lot of money in buying bulk, but you want to do it smartly.
All right. Thank you so much,
All right.
Rochelle. We
Thanks a lot.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's go to Savannah now for a final check of the forecast.
Thanks, Josh. Well, the heat and humidity both ramp up. We're looking at temperatures currently pushing the 80-degree mark, still expecting those to get into the upper 80s, maybe even a couple of lower 90s. That's more likely tomorrow for everyone across the area, even mid-90s. Heat index values and the reason behind our alert day, those could top out up to 105, maybe a few areas that reach 107 to 108. 89 Thursday, and then we're tracking maybe some severe weather. Josh, it stays hot all week.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Thanks for watching. We're back with more Live at 4 and streaming always at Channel 3000+.